Welcome to 5 Minutes With, a podcast where we connect with team members from across the country about their journeys, life stories, and whatever else that comes up. I'm your host, Yosef Saleh, and it only takes 5 minutes to connect. Now, before we begin today, I just want to acknowledge the video format that we're at right now. And we're currently at the HMA building at their studio, so shout out HMA. Now let's welcome today's guest, Capital Markets Manager from California, Catalina Botero.
Hi, Yosef.
Hi.
I'm super excited to be here today and honored to be the first guest in the video version of your podcast. Thanks for having me.
Of course, thank you for being here. Now, when I first pitched this podcast about 2 years ago now, I wanted to obviously get to know what people do at HCA, but I really wanted to specifically know what folks do in Treasury.
I'm sure you're not the only one.
Right.
So Treasury plays a key role in the success of Hyundai Capital America. We have 4 core responsibilities. The first is funding the company. We borrow billions of dollars every year from investors in the capital markets and from our banking partners to ensure we can originate new loans and leases and continue to grow. Our second responsibility is managing the company's cash. Billions of dollars flow through our bank accounts every year. Third, we ensure we have sufficient liquidity at all times to cover our operating expenses and pay our debts. And fourth, we manage financial risks that arise from interest rate and term differences between the company's assets and liabilities. So in a nutshell, that is what we do. Now, I am a capital markets and investor relations manager. So one of the most important parts of my job is borrowing money in the financial markets and from global banks at the best possible rate and under the best possible terms for HCA.
So what I'm hearing is come to you if I need to borrow money.
Sure.
Well, that all sounds complicated, and I'm not that good at math, but how do you get to this point in your career? And if someone is looking to break into Treasury, how could they do that?
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is Treasury is not all about math. It also involves communication and a lot of interaction with very diverse groups of people. So it is not boring, I can promise you that. Now, Treasury is not something I really dreamed about. I never really imagined myself working in Treasury, but it's something I found along the way, and it has been very rewarding. So I'm originally from Colombia. That is where the accent comes from. I came to the US for college, then moved back to Colombia, worked there for some time. I worked at a large bank in investor relations. So that is really where my capital markets journey began. I then moved back to the US, completed my MBA with a concentration in finance, and joined HCA. I have been with the company for about 8 years now, always in Treasury. I have developed an expertise in debt capital markets. Over time, when I first joined, I focused on one area of funding and learning everything about that. And then I gradually deepened my knowledge and expanded my scope and learned all kinds of things. Now, today, I am responsible for some of HCA's largest funding channels, including corporate bonds, commercial paper, and bank credit facilities. I also oversee investor relations activities. So it has been quite a journey with a lot of personal and professional growth. Now, for those who are looking to break into Treasury, I would point out that we have a very diverse team with people from all kinds of backgrounds. So the most important thing is having an interest in the subject matter, whether that is finance in general, or capital markets, or cash management, or asset and liability management, and being able to demonstrate that interest.
Right.
Different teams in Treasury will have different requirements. For example, my team in capital markets, we do have a preference for people who have a background in relevant fields such as finance, economics, or business. It gives them a good basic skill set to build upon. However, most importantly, I want people who are interested in the market, who read the news every day, who are in tune with what is going on with the economy and interest rates. That is key.
That's definitely key, to have some sort of interest in it and some passion to it, right?
Yes.
Well, 8 years is a long time. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes within HCA from 8 years ago. How would you describe HCA's culture to someone from the outside looking in, and how has it evolved?
So we have come a long way as a company. We experienced tremendous growth in recent years, and along the way we have become a more sophisticated organization and have strengthened our identity as a top captive in the US. I would describe our culture as dynamic, fast-paced, high-performing, and very collaborative. So really the slogan, Better Together, really describes what it's like for me to work at HCA and in the Treasury department in particular.
Yeah, I would tend to agree, especially now. We really want to be better together with all of our partners, dealers, OEMs, so 100%. So where do you see your career going from here? What's next? What are your goals?
So I want to continue becoming a Treasury expert. There is just so much to learn here, right? And as long as the work is interesting, I am learning, I am expanding, then this is a good place to be. I am not a big fan of the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Right. Because I like to be open to opportunities and possibilities. I don't want to limit myself. So basically, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. I love that. Well, before we wrap up, I always ask my guests, what advice do you have for our listeners and now for our viewers?
Well, I would say follow your curiosity. If there is a topic or an activity that sparks your interest, pay attention. It is always an opportunity to learn something new or have fun with that topic or activity or become really good at it. When I think of work, remaining curious is so important because really it opens me up to new ways of solving problems, new ideas, and to people.
I love that. Follow your curiosities.
Follow your curiosity. Can't go wrong.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you to my guest, Catalina Botero, and our viewers for tuning in. I'm your host, Yosef Soleh, and it only takes 5 minutes to connect.